This is the 18th video on triaxial loading. The topics covered are lateral strain, Poisson's ratio, uniaxial loading, biaxial loading, and triaxial loading. Lateral strain. Here, this is a bar of length L in which the P is the tensile force applied. Cross section is here, width is B, and the thickness of the rod is T. This is the rectangular cross section. Now the linear strain or longitudinal strain is the strain developed in the direction of applied force is known as linear strain. Now this force applied is in the positive x direction, and this is the length in the positive x direction which is parallel to the applied force. So linear strain epsilon is delta L upon L, and it is denoted by epsilon or small e, which we have already seen. So this change in length upon original length will be linear strain. Now when this force P is applied in the x direction, there is change in length as well as there is change in width and also in the thickness. So these two directions are lateral. So the lateral strain is the strain developed at a right angle or perpendicular to the direction of applied force is known as lateral strain or secondary strain, and we will be denoting it as epsilon L or EL. Now the lateral strain is change in lateral dimension. Lateral strain is the ratio of change in lateral dimension to original lateral dimension. Now for a rectangular section, the lateral strain epsilon L will be delta B upon B or delta T upon T, where B is the original width and T is the original thickness. Now so this B is the original width, and when the force P is applied in this direction, so in the lateral direction there will be some change in the width, so that change in width is delta B, and delta B upon the original width B will be lateral strain. Similarly, there will be some change in the thickness, that is change in thickness is delta T, and delta T upon the original thickness T is also lateral strain. Now here this section is rectangular. Instead of that, if it would have been a circular section, so since the section of the rod is circular, then the lateral strain will be delta D upon D, where D is the original diameter. Now if I want delta B change in width, then it will become lateral strain into B. Or if I want delta T change in thickness, here I am writing it, delta T will be E lateral into T, delta B change in width will be lateral strain into the width B. Similarly, if lateral strain is delta D upon D, where D is original diameter, and if I want change in diameter, then I can write it as E lateral, that is lateral strain into diameter. And what is the next thing which is important to understand here is, if the force is tensile as applied here, then there will be increase in length, and when there is increase in length, there will be decrease in the width and decrease in the thickness. And so if delta L upon L increase in length upon original length is taken as positive, which is linear strain, then the decrease in width upon original width, that is delta B upon B, that lateral strain will be negative, and the delta T upon T also will be negative. So if the linear strain is positive, lateral strain is negative. This is what we have to understand. And if the force P is compressive in nature, and there due to compressive force delta L upon L is delta L is decreasing in length, then delta B will be increase in the width, and there will be in delta T increase in the thickness, or if it is delta D, there will be increase in the diameter. Let us come to the next concept, that is Poisson's ratio. Poisson's is name of the scientist, and the symbol for Poisson's ratio is mu. It is pronounced as mu, and it is written as like this, mu. So the Poisson's ratio, when when a homogeneous body is loaded within elastic limit, the ratio of lateral strain to linear strain is constant and is known as Poisson's ratio. It is denoted by mu, or sometimes it is denoted by 1 upon m. The Poisson's ratio of most of the materials lies between 0.25 to 0.35. Now what is the Poisson's ratio? As per this definition, it is Poisson's ratio is equal to lateral strain divided by linear strain. So the ratio of lateral strain to linear strain is mu. Now if this linear strain I take it on this side, then it becomes lateral strain is equal to mu into linear strain. So lateral strain is equal to Poisson's ratio into linear strain. This is the another formula which we'll be using for lateral strain. So lateral strain is equal to mu into linear strain. Now let us come to what is a uniaxial loading. For uniaxial loading, here is the definition. Uniaxial loading in only one principal direction is known as uniaxial loading. Now there are three principal direction. One is x, another is y, and a third direction is z. Here this length is, we can very easily see that it is along the x-axis, parallel to x-axis. This width b is parallel to the z-axis, and this thickness t is parallel to y-axis. And here I am applying a force which is parallel to x direction, that is in the direction x direction. So this is the tensile force which I am showing. This is the tensile force P, and it is acting here. So if I show the cross section, then this is the dot. So this force P is perpendicular to the dimension B and to the dimension T. You can very easily see that this force is perpendicular to the width and to the height, that is the thickness T, and it is parallel to the length L. This force P is parallel to the length L. So here delta L upon L, change in length upon original length, will be linear strain, because this is the strain developed in the direction parallel to the applied force. So linear strain is delta L upon L, and if I want delta L, then I can write delta L is equal to linear strain epsilon into L. Now lateral strain is equal to, we have seen that it is Poisson's ratio into linear strain, so mu into the linear strain, and this linear strain I can write it as sigma upon E, so mu into sigma upon E. And now in this case the lateral strain will be delta B upon B, delta change in width divided by original width, or it is change in thickness divided by original thickness. Now here if I equate these two things, that is mu into sigma E is equal to delta B upon B. If I write it here again, mu into sigma E is equal to delta B upon B, and now I write it as delta B is equal to, then this divided by B will become here multiplied by B. So delta B will become equal to mu into sigma E, sigma divided by E into B. So delta B, change in width, I can calculate it as mu into sigma divided by E into B, or it is E lateral into B. Similarly, the change in thickness will be mu into sigma divided by E into T, or it is E lateral into T. Similarly, for delta D, I can write it as mu into sigma divided by E into D, or it is E lateral into D. So sometimes to calculate delta D or B or delta T, we will be using this formula or this formula. And this is how the change in width or change in thickness or change in diameter we calculate for the uniaxial loading. These are the formulas which we use if there is loading only in one direction, and here it is along the length. Now biaxial loading. If the material is loaded in two directions, that is the two principal directions x and y. If the member is loaded along two principal directions, then it is said to be biaxial loading. Here I am showing a figure. A, B, C, D is the block, and here along the A, B, this vertical direction is taken as y. So this is the stress sigma y, which is acting in the vertical direction, that is the y direction, and in the horizontal direction the stress acting is sigma x, and this length AB, this horizontal length AB will be called as x, and the vertical length BC, the length BC is called as y. So this is how it is loaded. Sigma x and sigma y, both the stresses are tensile. Now let us see how we calculate the strain. Now the strain in x direction due to sigma x will be linear, because now sigma x is horizontal in the x direction, parallel to the x direction. So strain developed due to sigma x will be linear, whereas sigma y is perpendicular to the x direction. So the strain developed due to sigma y will be lateral. Strain developed due to sigma y will be lateral, and due to sigma x will be linear. Now the strain in x direction, the total strain in x direction will be strain due to sigma x plus strain due to sigma y. So the strain in x direction will epsilon x will be, now due to sigma x, the strain developed will be sigma x divided by E, and strain due to sigma y will be minus mu sigma y upon E. Now sigma y upon E is the linear strain, and if I multiply by mu I get the lateral strain, and lateral strain is, if this sigma linear strain is positive, lateral strain is negative. So this is the minus sign which we have to give here. Similarly, the strain in y direction, total strain in y direction, epsilon y will be, now when it comes to y direction strain due to sigma y will be linear, and strain due to sigma x will become lateral. So here this will be equal to, now linear strain is sigma y upon E. For the y direction, sigma y will give linear strain, so it will be sigma y upon E, and now sigma x will become lateral, so it will be minus mu into sigma x upon E. When we add minus mu to the figure, it becomes a lateral strain. Now the strain in the z direction, epsilon z will be equal to, now z is the direction which is perpendicular to this plane which we cannot see. So for strain in z direction, strain due to sigma x and sigma y both are perpendicular, so both are lateral. So and sigma z is 0, so here there is no term sigma z upon E. So strain in z direction will be, due to sigma y it will be minus mu sigma y upon E, and due to sigma x it will be minus mu sigma x upon E. This is how we calculate the strain in x, y and z direction. Now if I want the change in length, delta x, delta y and delta z, how we calculate it? Let us see that. Now if I want change in x direction, delta x, it will be strain in x direction into original length in x direction, that is x, because delta x upon x is epsilon x. So now if I substitute the value of epsilon x, that is strain in x direction, from here it is sigma x divided by E minus mu sigma y divided by E, this whole thing in bracket into x. If I take 1 upon E common, it becomes bracket open sigma x minus mu sigma y bracket close divided by E into x. That gives me delta x, that is change in x direction. And it is always better to take out E common while doing the calculations. So change in y direction will be similarly delta y is equal to epsilon y into y is equal to, now substitute the value of strain in y direction from here. This is bracket open sigma y upon E minus mu sigma x upon E into y is equal to bracket open is I'm taking out 1 upon E common sigma y minus mu sigma x bracket close divided by E into y. This will be the change in y direction delta y. Similarly, change in z direction delta z is equal to epsilon z into z, which is equal to, substitute this value bracket open minus mu sigma y upon E minus mu sigma x upon E bracket close into z. Here again I'm taking 1 upon E common. I'm not taking mu common. So minus mu sigma y minus mu sigma x bracket close divided by E into z. These are the formulas which we'll be using to calculate the change in delta x, y or z while doing the calculations and solving the problems. Let us now see what is a triaxial loading. Now if a member is loaded along all three principal directions, then it is said to be triaxial loading. So here sigma x, sigma y and sigma z, all three are acting in three directions. Now if I want a strain in x direction due to, then total strain in x direction, then due to sigma x it will be linear, but due to sigma y and sigma z it will be lateral. So the strain in x direction, total strain in x direction epsilon x will be strain due to sigma x, strain due to sigma y plus strain due to sigma z. So strain in x direction epsilon x will be, now due to sigma x it is linear, so it will be sigma x upon E. Due to sigma y it will be lateral, so minus mu into sigma y divided by E minus mu into sigma z divided by E. So these two y and z here become lateral and x is linear. Similarly, strain in y direction epsilon y, when we want to calculate, now sigma y upon E is the linear. So first we will take this sigma y upon E. This is linear. Lateral will be sigma x and sigma z. So minus mu sigma x divided by E minus mu sigma z divided by E. Similarly, strain in z direction epsilon z, linear strain will be sigma z upon E, and now sigma x and sigma y will become lateral, so minus mu sigma x divided by E and minus mu sigma y divided by E. This is how we calculate this total strain in XYZ direction for triaxial loading. Now let us see how we calculate the change in length delta x, delta y and delta z. Now change in x direction delta x will be the same formula epsilon x into x. X is the length in the x direction. So epsilon x substitute from here. So it will be bracket open sigma x divided by E minus mu sigma y divided by E minus mu sigma z divided by E bracket close into length x. Here again I take out 1 upon E common, so it becomes delta x is equal to bracket open sigma x minus mu sigma y minus mu sigma z bracket close divided by E into length x. Similarly, for the change in y direction delta y, the basic formula is epsilon y into y. Now epsilon y we substitute from here, so that is bracket open delta y divided by E minus mu delta x divided by E minus mu delta z upon E bracket close. Now this sigma y upon y is linear strain, and minus mu sigma x upon E and minus mu sigma z upon E, this is lateral. So how we write it? Bracket open sigma y divided by E minus mu sigma x divided by E minus mu sigma z divided by E bracket close into y. Now I am taking 1 upon E common, so it becomes the strain in y direction delta y is equal to bracket open sigma y minus mu sigma x minus mu sigma z bracket close divided by E into y, where y is the length in y direction. Similarly, change in z direction delta z is epsilon z into z. Now the strain in the z direction, this is the figure which we substitute here. Epsilon z is equal to bracket open sigma z upon E minus mu sigma x upon E minus mu sigma y divided by E bracket close into z. Now here again 1 upon E is taken common, and here also sigma z upon E is linear strain in z direction, and due to sigma x and sigma y are lateral strain. So here it will become bracket of sigma z to the change in z direction delta z is equal to bracket open sigma z minus mu sigma x minus mu sigma y bracket close divided by e into z. This z is length in the z direction. So these are the formulas which we use to calculate. If we want the strain, we will be using this formula, epsilon x, epsilon y and epsilon z. If we want delta x, delta y, delta z, that is change in x direction, y direction and z direction, then we will be using this formula in the calculations, and we have to remember these formulas. Even if we remember the formula for strain epsilon x, epsilon y and epsilon z, and we remember that to calculate delta x we have to just substitute the value of epsilon x into length x, that gives us delta x, then it is very simple to remember the formulas. So this is how we can study the triaxial loading. Be a master. Thank you.